Today on Dr. Phill.
You're crazy!
Is her daughter
I have a problem with the thug guys that she likes.
involved with a convict?
You think she's just going to wake up and go, Mom's right, I'm an idiot.
No, I'm not calling her an idiot.
No, you are. I wrote it down.
Plus, police say her ex was the last person to see this pregnant woman alive.
He tried to take my life. He never once denied that he killed Bethany.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phill.
How you doing? How are you? Hey, guys. Growing up, most girls dream of one day falling in love and meeting their Prince Charming, just like a fairy tale. My guest today says it's what she's always wanted for her daughter. She's never once dreamed her sweet young daughter would grow up one day and fall in love with a man in jail. Her mother worries her daughter is facing a dangerous, unhappily ever after.
You give your phone number out to anybody that you would meet.
Who have I gave my phone number to?
I don't know. You still talk to all these different guys, accepting friend requests from people that you don't even know.
You assume it's guys. You don't know. And it's pissing me off.
My daughter, Jade, is putting herself out for danger to be raped. You can see a thong.
Yeah.
Jade dresses provocatively. My daughter wears her makeup like a drag queen.
I never freaking pleased you. You need to freaking let me go.
You broke the trust. When Jade was around 14, I took her phone because I'll take it periodically. It's my phone, I pay for it. And I saw that she was sending naked pictures to a boy. I smashed that phone.
My mom's been crazy since I was 13 years old.
You act like a psychopath and everyone sees it.
Nobody's gonna hurt my daughter.
She treats me like I'm 2.
Jade's phone gets turned off at 11 p.m. and gets turned back on at 7 a.m. and it's on restriction between 4:30 and 6:30. I have deleted contacts. She can't take pictures. She can't access any new apps. No internet access. Because Jade has made bad choices in the past, I am overprotective of her.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy in love with you. Get it right.
Well, Rhonda says she has every reason to be concerned. Just a few months ago, Jade started a relationship with a man she's never met. And for good reason. He's in jail.
Last year, I found out my daughter was speaking to a guy in jail.
I didn't think it was a big deal. He wasn't like in jail for like killing someone. He was just in jail for selling drugs.
He was African American, he had gold teeth, he was tattooed from the neck to the waistline. He was a thug, a drug dealer, smoking weed in his cell.
We would call each other every day. I was planning to see him after he got out of prison.
When I realized that my 18-year-old daughter was talking to somebody in jail, I went ballistic. I ran into her room and screamed, "What are you doing?" And her response to me is, he was only dealing drugs.
And then she was just like, "You're not having a phone ever again." Like, she was just flipping out.
I took everything away from her, social media, her phone. She had access to nothing.
My mom says that she's protective and loves me, but I think she's crazy.
Okay, what's your biggest fear here? What's going to happen?
She's going to be taken, raped, solicited for prostitution,
Right.
or killed
All right, and your strategy is,
to keep her safe,
and you're going to do that by what?
no matter what. Anything that I can do.
Anything you can do. Okay,
Yes.
and do you think you do dangerous things?
Not necessarily, no.
Not necessarily. Okay, she says, you think she dresses like a drag queen, you say?
Her makeup, sometimes, yes.
Her makeup. Did you do your own makeup today?
Yes.
How do you think she looks today?
She looks pretty. I would put on something over the top if I was
Yeah.
had a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're how old?
18.
That's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Yes, I understand that, but I feel that she puts herself in danger all the time. So, as a mom, I have to protect her.
You're just going to raise more hell than she does rebellion. So it's hellion versus rebellion, and this is just going to go until you win, is your theory.
That's the way it's been going, but I don't want it to continue to go like this. I want to...
Well, but maybe it's okay. How's it working for you?
It's not. It's not working at all.
You did not need to come here for me to point out to you that this wasn't working.
No, but I feel if I continue that maybe she'll wake up and say, well, my mom's right.
Okay. Okay. So you think that someday she's just going to wake up and go, oh, Mom's right, I'm an idiot.
No, I'm not calling her an idiot. I just think
No, you are calling her an idiot. I wrote it down.
that
Isn't she calling you an idiot?
Yes.
And I've told her to get her head out of her ass, yes. But I mean, it's because I want her to understand that I'm only trying to protect her.
Okay, do you really not get it, or do you just not want to say it out loud?
I'm the idiot, I guess.
No, you're just scared.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a break. Jade says she meets a lot of nice guys, but no matter how much she likes them, her mother never approves. Doesn't matter who she drags up, no matter who she meets, they're not good enough for Mom. Well, let's just find out who she's dragging up. We'll talk about that after the break.
Jada texted me, I need to tell you something before I come home. She said, I have a hickey.
So you think it's right to hang out with him the first time, out of school, and have a hickey? Do you think it's appropriate?
He would apologize to you.
I don't want an apology.
I don't have a problem with my daughter being with a black man. I have a problem with the thug guys that she likes.
Just because I like to watch BT and stuff, she came out slamming doors like so loud. She's like, oh, you watching a show?
Love and hip hop, gangster girls, this and that. All the crap that she watches, she just tries to act like them. I don't like it.
I lock the TV, and you have to put a coat on to watch those channels.
Sometimes my mom can be really racist.
Okay, you say that you say she's a psycho.
Yes.
Are you giving her reason to be what you call psycho?
I think I have, but I don't think she comes about it the right way. Like, I think she can...
Well, let's forget about the way she does it. What are the bad choices you're making? If you're just being completely objective.
Talking to someone in jail.
Okay, so you're talking to somebody in jail.
I was.
And this someone in jail, she doesn't like the fact that he's African-American, according to you. Let's put that aside for a minute. How old is this guy?
27.
27, and you're 18. Does he have children?
Yes.
How many?
3.
3. He has 3 children. What's he doing in jail? You said he didn't kill anybody, so that's good.
He was in jail for selling drugs.
He's a dealer.
Yes.
He's a 27-year-old drug dealer with 3 children, and he's in jail. How long is he in jail for?
Last time I talked to him, he said he only had 6 months left.
So he only has 6 months left. So he's been in there a while. But he hasn't killed anybody. No. So he's like a nice drug dealer. He just got in jail because why?
He told me he sold to the wrong person and they told the cops.
So he's not a very good drug dealer.
No.
He's a nice drug dealer, but he's not a very good drug dealer. So he doesn't say, by the way, are you a cop?
No.
Right? You're talking to him on the phone?
Through cell phone, yes.
He has a cell phone in jail.
Yes.
Which is an infraction of its own, correct? Because you're not supposed to have a cell phone in jail.
Yes.
Have you sent him pictures?
Yes.
Have you sent him provocative pictures? We're just being honest.
Yes.
You've sent him provocative pictures in jail. So you're now probably well known in jail.
The head girl in jail.
So Does he know where you live? Be honest.
Yes. Not, like, what town or anything.
Okay. He doesn't have your address.
No.
He has your cell phone number.
Yes.
He did, because we're going to change that.
Tells her to look for a place where she wants to live because he loves her and all this crap.
Has he told you he loves you?
Yes.
Did you believe him? Be honest.
To a certain point.
She did, because after he threatened me and after I called him on his cell phone.
Are you a ventriloquist? Because I ask you questions and it sounds like the answer's coming from over here.
She does that about everything.
Yeah.
She likes to answer for me.
You know, I thought I was doing pretty good. I didn't yell. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't call her any names. And I seem to have gotten a lot of information you didn't even have yet.
Because I don't think she's going to tell you this. So I need to fill you in along the way.
Well, more of the Rhonda show right after the break. Jade says if things don't get better, she's moving out. Is that a good idea? I'm going to tell them both what I think when we come back.
I tape Dr. Phill every single day. He says you never have a computer in your children's room. You always have to be aware of what your children are doing on the social media. I feel like I'm doing the right things, but it's not working for my daughter. We fight about it every single day. Dr. Phill, what am I doing wrong?
Oh, wow, it's only an hour show. What are you doing wrong? I certainly don't think that you have bad intentions at all. Your intentions are good, your methods aren't working.
Right.
One thing I know for sure is that your daughter doesn't have the self-worth, the self-esteem, and the value that I would want her to have. And you pointing out her shortcomings in the way that you do doesn't help that.
Right. Well, it's not that. It's.
Oh, you need to listen right now.
I'm sorry.
You're blocking TV channels like BET. You're not blocking porn, you're blocking BET. You need to listen right now. Here's the problem. You're young and incredibly naive. You can't see around corners because your brain's not fully grown yet. I don't mean that to be condescending. I mean it to be neuroanatomically correct. Mm-hmm. The last part of the brain that grows is the neocortex, which is where you get foresight, the ability to predict the consequences of your actions. And when I said that your self-worth and your self-esteem and all is not where it needs to be, what I mean is I don't want to yell and scream at you. Have you noticed I haven't done that? I haven't said anything ugly to you, have I?
No.
Because what I want you to do is I want you to value yourself enough where you would say, I'm not putting myself there because I value myself too much to do it. For that reason, I asked the folks at Onsite to come here today. They're a program that we work with that I am just so proud of. I asked Miles Adcox to be here. He's the CEO of Onsite. Say hello to Miles. He's right here. And he just does such a terrific job, and I think does a really great job, particularly with young folks at the on-site retreat. And I asked him to be here because I wanted him to meet with you and talk with you, because I think a really concentrated program with you would be something that you would just flourish under. You know, Miles, she's got such great potential. And so I would like for you, Miles, to sit down backstage and talk with these folks about that, because I think this would just be such a great fit. Can you do that with them backstage?
100%.
Next, she says she was forced to shoot her boyfriend 2 times in self-defense because she says she was terrified he would kill her. But she did not escape unharmed. It's a night she says changed her life forever. We'll meet her after the break.
I started to feel like there was a side of Ronald that I had never seen. He would get loud and controlling. And he said, if I really wanted to, I could shoot you, shoot the dogs, and then shoot myself. We'd all be dead.
My next guest, Vicki, says that 4 months ago, her ex-boyfriend nearly killed her. He is now awaiting trial with charges that include attempted murder for shooting her in the head. Vicki says the night of her alleged attack, she feared for her life.
I met Ronald about 2 years ago. He seemed to be very nice, polite, quiet, somewhat charismatic. I started to feel like there was a side of Ronald that I had never seen. He would get loud and controlling. He wanted to know my every move. One minute he would be very sweet, and then the next minute he would be throwing the ottoman. He would get close into my face and scream where you could feel his breath. One day Ronald brought home a puppy. And when that puppy wouldn't behave, he would choke her. She would gurgle and cry. And I couldn't save her any more than I could save myself. Another day, Ronald took me to the countertop and was bashing my head from the counter to the cupboard. He was mashing me towards the sink, and I thought my neck was gonna break. And then he proceeded to tell me that if I went to the police, that he would kill me. I started hiding my guns around the house. And he said, if I really wanted to, I could shoot you, shoot the dogs, and then shoot myself. We'd all be dead. I knew he was going to try to kill me, and there was nothing I could do. I felt like I had nowhere to run.
Well, Vicki says she finally got up the courage to leave, but before she had the chance, she says her life was changed forever.
The night that Ronald attacked me and my life changed forever. He grabbed me and started going crazy. I know he was hitting me, my neck snapped. I could feel it, I heard it. He proceeded to beat me, choke me, spit on me. He was fighting me and laughing at me, and I was begging him to stop. He started to rip my clothes off. He choked me. The light flashed and the darkness came, and I was gurgling. He was so busy hurting me that he didn't see that I was trying to get the gun from under the chair. I started pulling the trigger. I shot him twice. He started wrestling me to get the gun. He shot me. He tried shooting me 3 times. The third shot went in my head. I put my arm up in front of me, and the bullet went in my arm and into my head. I was throwing up blood. I realized, my God, I'm not dead, and he's still beating me. He walked towards the kitchen. Once he hit that kitchen, that was the moment that I ran. The bullet is still in my head. My eye, it's dying out. Ronald has been charged with attempted murder. I can only pray that Ronald doesn't get out, because if he gets out, he's coming to get me.
Vicki is here along with her sister Joey, and I'm so glad you're here at so many levels, and thank you for being here.
Thank you
with
for
her.
having us.
This, it's got to be hard to talk about again and to see and hear some of this footage, right?
I wish I would have made different choices.
How so? What would you have done differently?
Well, I had an escape plan, and I didn't follow through.
What was your first clue? What was that first thing in your head, in your heart, that said, something's way wrong here?
He had been accused of something, and I just asked politely, confronted him to let him know what I had heard.
Because someone had said to you, someone had approached you about it, right?
Yes.
And said, did you know that he was a person of interest at least?
Right, in the disappearance of Bethany Decker.
You thought, I'm going to say something to him.
Yeah.
And so you did, and what happened?
He blew up.
When we come back, Vicki says when she found out her boyfriend was part of the headline in a national news story about a pregnant missing woman, it was really too late. We'll be right back.
Where is Bethany Decker? Army wife, 5 months pregnant with a second child, vanishes.
Ronald was the boyfriend last seen with Bethany Decker.
Why did the boyfriend move out immediately when she goes missing? This is about possible murder. Bombshell tonight. Army wife, 5 months pregnant with a second child, vanishes. Where is Bethany Decker? We obtained a list of what cops were looking for in the boyfriend's home.
They have stated in this affidavit that Bethany told them that the boyfriend was very abusive and very controlling.
Ronald was the boyfriend last seen with Bethany Decker.
The story was intriguing. You have a missing woman who is 5 months pregnant, vanished in thin air. The twist that we found out was that she wasn't living with her husband. She was living in an apartment, and she had a boyfriend. Was it the boyfriend's baby? Unfortunately, we still don't know because she is still missing.
Why did the boyfriend move out immediately when she goes missing? This is about possible murder.
After Ronald had moved in, he would randomly bring up Bethany and brag about how the courts couldn't get him, how stupid the police are, that he could trick them. And Ronald just told me how he could make people disappear. He never once denied that he killed Bethany. He tried to take my life. I'm 100% sure that Ronald is very much part of Bethany's disappearance.
Well, I need to say Vicki's ex-boyfriend has not been convicted of anything that Vicki claims he has done and has never been charged with anything when it comes to the disappearance of Bethany Decker. We reached out to his attorney for a statement but did not receive a response. When he brought up Bethany a couple of times, what was his demeanor when he was talking about it?
As though he was big and tough and bad and could beat the system.
You were convinced 100%
Yes.
that you were living with the man that was involved here.
Yes. And I could not get out.
Yeah. You had code words, right?
I worked with her on a code plan because he was looking at text messages and everything. So I said, we're going to start to talk in code. When you text me these words, I have a job interview. That meant she was leaving. And so that if he saw that, he knew she needed a job. So it wouldn't be suspicious. We had an non-disclosed location that we were sending her to. And I got that text one day. And I text back, let me know if you get the job, meaning I knew it would take her a couple days to travel there. And when she arrived there, she would let me know she got that job by text. We had also set up that once she left, she would throw that phone out and we would pick up a burner phone so that she could continue her journey without being tracked by him because they had a joint cell phone account and he was looking on it.
Yeah. Well, it was very ingenious of you to work that out. And as you say, you changed the plan.
I wasn't thinking straight.
I understand. You know, my wife, Robin, has been at the forefront to stop domestic violence. And next, we're going to talk about an exciting project that she's been extremely busy with that's helping further that mission. And, you know, along the lines of what y'all are talking about, one of the things that Robin has done is develop something called the Aspire News app. This is disguised as just an everyday app that goes on your phone, and it has a go button on it, among other things. And Robin, talk about what happens when you activate this go button.
When you activate the go button, it goes out to your pre-selected friends, family members, anyone, even 911, and it will send out either a recorded message or a pre-typed message. And they know that when they get that, that you're in trouble. It also starts recording what's going on during the situation, so that if your abuser tells the police, no, she started it, they know, no, he started it. And so, yes, help is on the way immediately when you press that go button.
We're going to talk more about work that Robin is doing after the break, so we'll be right back. Last year, Robin and her foundation, When Georgia Smiled, hosted a groundbreaking domestic violence summit where leaders from the domestic violence community came together to speak about this often silent epidemic. One guest speaker who really resonated with Robin was Karen Earl, the CEO of the Genesee Center here in Los Angeles, which is a women's shelter that helps women and children transition from abusive situations to safe ones. Now, Karen shared with Robin how her center was, well, it was in much need of resources, and Robin didn't hesitate to visit her to see how she could help.
It's so wonderful to see you again. Oh, I would love for you to tell me more about the Genesee Center.
Well, Genesee is a safe place for women and children. This is where they come when they're escaping domestic violence.
Well, the #1 message from When Georgia Smiled, when women and children are trying to leave an abusive situation, is safety first. Let's take a little tour and look at what we're going to change. I see these lights hanging like this. That looks very dangerous. And that's all the light you have out here.
We don't have lights in the backyard. Yeah.
So when the children come in from school, and once it gets dark, they can't even use this area. I'm looking around and I see that some of this is a little bit worn out.
Yes, it has been here for a while and used thoroughly.
I see also under the play area, it's a little bit uneven, and hopefully they can even that out and make that soft. What is this area?
Well, it's designed for the women to have a place to come. They have meetings, discuss issues. They can enjoy the outside.
Oh, I think we could use some new furniture. What do you ladies think?
Yeah. If you consider so many families, everybody is using it over and over,
yes,
it would be a nice change to have something new.
It's going to be just a beautiful redo with the safety of the children in mind. I see just a gorgeous flower box just going the entire perimeter of the yard.
Yeah.
It would just be such a beautiful visual for everyone when they come out here. Hopefully we can also bring in new toys for the children. Now, one more thing. I would love to know what's going on with this garage behind us.
And we'd love to tell you.
All right, let's look at that.
It's a two-person job. It gets tricky here. So you just have to hold it, and I'm going to lift it.
Okay, I'm pushing the button. Oh. And you have to help. Oh, whoa. It's going to stay up?
Hopefully.
I think it's obvious that we need a new garage door,
yes,
because that was a bit scary. You don't use this for a garage. It looks like storage. While you have it very organized and clean, you need more storage on the walls. This has been a great tour. Our #1 goal when we arrived here today was to see what we could do to make the world a safer place for the women and the children that live here. And so I thank you women so much for having us here, and I cannot wait to see the final result. The women and children who come to this shelter to feel safe and comfortable while they take the first steps to beginning their new lives. And I couldn't wait to roll up my sleeves and get to it. With the amazing generosity of the Home Depot and their Team Depot volunteers, we got right to work.
Today we are going to transform the backyard of the Genesee Center. We have 30 volunteers today from our local Home Depot coming in to help make this happen.
Home Depot!
All right, guys, go to it. We are so happy that Robin McGraw has brought in the Team Depot because one of the Home Depot's core values is giving back to our community. This backyard really needs a renovation. We're taking out the old jungle gym. We're putting down new artificial turf. The next step is to get the swing set installed.
We'll smooth it all out so they can play.
We're going to be putting in some flower beds and even a vegetable garden.
I was really hoping that I could donate a tree that would bloom, and this one's a lemon tree. As it grows and it has the fruit on it that they think of us at the Dr. Phill show and When Georgia Smiled.
The garage door is very old and it is definitely not very safe. We're going to be installing a brand new garage door with a brand new remote control. Right now the garage is in complete disarray. Today we'll be transforming the inside of the garage to make it easier for them to access the things that they need for the house. The facility is in desperate need for storage space, so we have a 16 by 4 foot storage shed coming in. We have a new gazebo going up. We have a new table, new chairs. We have a beautiful fountain that will be back here. We're going to be replacing the security lights because they are not functioning right now.
Just put them down here like this. I love how many lights we've put in here. It's going to be so safe for all of the children.
And we have brand new toys coming in. Hula hoops, tricycles.
Oh, they're bubbles. Look at the bubble sticks. All right, so we're just going to spread it around.
When we are done, this place is going to look amazing.
I want to start by telling all of you a huge, from my heart, thank you. Without you, it would not have happened.
Let's see if I can get Home Depot to come over and get you to rake around our house over there. You guys seem to get her to do a lot of stuff over there.
Now, do you really want to go there?
No. Are you going to show us the final results?
Yes. Are you ready to see it? Because it is gorgeous. So take a look. I know you're excited because I can feel you both shaking. On the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes and get the best surprise you've ever had in your entire life. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God.
Oh, you're crying. Oh, don't cry. Tears of joy, I know. What do you think?
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Oh my goodness. Beautiful.
Look at the swing set. Bless your heart. It's wonderful. What do you think? It's overwhelming, isn't it?
Yes.
It's so beautiful. Try out that swing. Woo! Yeah. Thank you to Swing Set Solutions. They donated this beautiful swing set to the children here, and I am loving it. They planted these beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
It's beauty, beauty, beauty.
Yes, yes. And it's functional.
Yes. The lights. Look how wonderful.
Oh my God,
we have
I didn't
all the
notice
lights.
those.
It's going to be so safe for them. And look at all of these beautiful toys. Mattel donated. They have seen firsthand what play can do for a child's mental and physical capabilities. And look at this beautiful living area.
I love the colors.
Fountain is so peaceful, isn't it?
I'm grateful and thinking about how this is going to impact the children and the families. It will let them know how special they are.
Oh, that's so true. Remember that rickety old nasty garage door that took 2 of us to open? Watch this. Notice you don't hear it because it's so nice and quiet.
Oh my God. This space.
I can't believe it. Look at all the bins. It's all organized, cleaned up. This is just a gift from Home Depot.
Happy children, thriving, peace, hope.
Inspired.
Inspired.
Wow.
Thank you, Robin.
You are so precious. Don't thank us. We thank you for allowing us to be a part of this.
Well, joining us is Karen Earl. She is the CEO of the Genesis Center. So I'm so glad you're here. So how's everybody liking it?
We're almost speechless, except we're not. We're super, super grateful to see the looks on the families when they walk out. Just complete gratitude that someone took days and days and weeks to do that for them. It's very inspiring.
Thanks to Home Depot, it was so much fun to be there and be working with them. So thank you for allowing us to be there and be a part of it.
Yeah. Also joining us is Stephanie Press, who is the district service manager for the Home Depot. So, Stephanie, thank you for being here and for helping out.
Our associates volunteer their time. I actually have some of them with me here today.
All right, nice.
It's something that we take very near and dear to our hearts. It's very important for the associates to feel like they are participating in their communities where they work.
But also know that a huge passion of y'all's is working with veterans as well and giving back to the veterans. So I love that y'all do that as well.
Yes, Dr. Phill. Actually, 35,000 of our associates are actually veterans.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. That's just great. And you guys have impacted more than 15,000 veteran homes as well as doing the stuff with the domestic violence shelter. So that's a lot of good work that y'all are doing. So
thank you, Dr. Phill.
Next, I have a little surprise for Robin. Find out what it is after the break. Now, before the break, I said I had a little surprise for Robin. Now, you all know one of the groundbreaking programs Robin has created is called Aspire. It's a free, interactive domestic violence education curriculum that's specifically designed for 3 different age groups. Joining us now are Debbie and Daniel, who are teachers at the Bayside Community Charter School, who have begun using Aspire in their school and have seen a great response among the students. Let me welcome all of them to the show, all right? And Daniel, this isn't just a lecture thing. You let the kids interact and go back and forth, right?
Yeah, I teach sociology, and so one of the great things about the Aspire program is what you're doing is you're using, real incidents, real events that have occurred, and having them come up with ways to help strategize onto how to empower themselves, how to find help if they need help.
I'm so happy to hear that, and that the students are enjoying doing it.
Now, Christian, you were in this program, and you had a light bulb moment. What was it for you?
Well, when my teacher was showing us the text messages, I kind of just realized that I'm that abusive person,
You thought you were starting to cross the line.
Yeah.
And be too controlling.
Yes.
I am so proud to say schools all over the country are using Aspire. And just recently, in honor of Women's History Month, Robin was asked to be a featured speaker at Miami-Dade, the largest commuter college in the country, over 100,000 students. She's just delivering this message all over the place.
What an honor to meet you. Thank you for being here.
It's all mine. Thank you for your work.
We have students that we definitely are going to share this information.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Please join me in welcoming Robin McGraw.
I love, in fact, I live for the opportunity to speak to a group like yours. I am here to invite each and every one of you to join me in taking action.
It was so exciting to be there. I presented the Aspire curriculum and the Aspire app to the faculty and staff to help them use it in their classrooms.
The program is designed for 3 specific age groups, each with its own custom curriculum: tweens, teens and young adults, and adults. My mother, Georgia, made sure I did 2 things every single day. The first thing she made sure was that I thanked God for my blessings. The other thing was to do something for someone else. I think of her every single time I speak. And I hope that even if I reach one person in every crowd, that one person is saved from abuse.
And I was also a part of a panel made up of members of my advisory board that answered numerous questions from student organizations about what they can do to create awareness and empower each other to stop abuse on campus.
I would like to know what motivated you to start awareness on domestic violence, and what advice would you give to someone like me who would like to start something like this in my developing country?
I think if you would just go to unwomen.org, it will be your first step towards knowing how you can get involved and what that can grow into. It concluded with over 1,000 students downloading the Aspire app on their phones at the same time.
I pledge to Aspire.
I'm really proud of you, so good job. Listen, we got to get going. I want to thank all of my guests today. A big thanks again to the Home Depot Foundation and the team Depot for all of their help and all of their hard work. I'd also like to thank the Swing Set Solutions. They're a great company located right here in Southern California, and we're a big part of the Genesee Center project. If you want to download Robin's Aspire curriculum, please go to whengeorgiasmiled.org or drphill.com. You can also visit iTunes or the Android App Store to download the free Aspire app for your app phone. Now, also today, we discussed the story of Bethany Decker, who is still missing. If you or anyone you know has any information, please go to drphill.com, where we will have information for where you can call. Thanks, everybody, for being here. So long. Thanks, guys. See you guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Today on Dr. Phill, she thought she had the perfect family.
He was the best dad.
She had no idea
Victims had their feet bound and their eyes covered with tape.
that her husband
You found ladies' nylons. He says these are for you.
was a predator.
I found this brown paper bag with zip ties and syringes.
Police found a stun gun, handcuffs, and leg shackles in his car. Have you been living with a serial rapist? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Imagine this scenario. A beautiful stay-at-home mom married to her high school sweetheart. 4 kids, a lovely home, and a seemingly good life. It's easy to picture, right? What if one day you found out that the man that you slept with every night, the father of your children, the man you sat with and watched television, was all of a sudden accused of living a secret life? And in fact, of being the very monster that you had been reading about and seeing on the news in your town. Well, this is what happened to this wife when police stopped her husband's car for a minor traffic violation. The officers noticed blankets partially covering some of the windows. With his consent, the officers searched the vehicle, and what they found was disturbing. They found handcuffs, ladies' nylons, syringes, a stun gun, prescription drug vials, adhesive tape, and metal leg shackles. Now, why on earth would he have these items in his car? Well, the police had their suspicions.
We are beginning tonight on the arrest of a Salinas man police say is a serial rapist.
The 40-year-old suspect, Lonnie Keith, has so far been charged with 2 counts of kidnapping and 1 count of rape. He's also the prime suspect in 9 similar unsolved sexual assaults.
Both victims had their hands and feet bound with plastic zip ties and their eyes covered with tape.
Detectives later searched his home and found syringes, vials of sedatives, handcuffs, leg restraints, and other items that they believe he had ready for another attack.
This suspect had created a cave, if you will, in the back of his vehicle.
Cops say blankets covered the windows of his vehicle. He'd allegedly strong-arm women into the back seat, stick them with a hypodermic needle, and drug them. Then cops say he'd tie them up and rape them. Neighbors say Keith loved playing sports with his kids, and his wife organized 4th of July block parties.
Keith is a physician's assistant and is the married father of 4.
Lonnie Keith's wife, Carrie, says her life changed forever when the police came to her home at 7 a.m. to break the news that her husband of 15 years had been arrested and charged with being a serial rapist.
My life was turned upside down a year ago. I was awoken to police officers outside of my home. They told me that my husband had been arrested on suspicion of kidnapping and possible rape. I was shocked. I thought, this can't be true. You have the wrong person. The detectives told me that young women were sedated and sexually assaulted. And they said Lonnie fit the description. In the car, they found leg restraints, handcuffs, zip ties, nylons, and syringes. The medical stuff, he said that it was just left over from the night before, which made sense. He worked in a hospital. I asked him why they found restraints or the women's nylons, and he suggested that they were for me. But I'm not into bondage and those type of things, so that did make me feel weird. I just kept saying to myself, this can't be happening. Lonnie and I were married for 15 years. It scares me that if they do have the right guy, I laid next to him in bed and had a family with him. Lonnie never showed me any signs of any kind of hate towards women. We have 2 daughters together, and he was the best dad since he's been gone. The girls don't want to talk about their dad being in jail. There was some teasing for my son at school. It's hard to think that somebody who you've been with for half of your life could at all be accused of something so heinous.
All right, Carrie, I'm glad to meet you, but I'm sorry for the circumstance. We always talk about hindsight being 20/20. As you now look back, do you see things now that didn't register with you at the time?
Honestly, sorry, my voice.
That's right.
Honestly, the things that I did see and find, he was having an affair, and I found out about that in like October of 11.
Right.
And the things I found, I always thought were for her. So as far as seeing this, no, absolutely not.
Now, he's been arrested, he's been indicted, he's pled not guilty. And so we have to treat these as allegations because he's not been convicted of it.
Right.
I wrote some things down for us to look at. You found some things in the home at the time. They were in paper bags in 2 different locations, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you found zip ties. You asked him about it, and he says, these are for the bushes around the pool.
Yeah, that it was just for the pool.
You found ladies' nylons, not yours. And he said that they were for you.
Right.
Were they still in wrappers?
No.
He says these are for you.
Right.
So what he did is he's saying, I bought these, unwrapped them, wadded them up, stuck them in a paper bag with zip ties, and put them behind the dryer. And
well, the dryer was, at his, he had an apartment for about 5 months.
Right.
And so, they were hidden there. He knew I was snooping. I was snooping. And so he said that he put those there because he knew I was going to find them. And so,
And then you found syringes.
I did, yeah.
And he says these were left over from his job as a physician's assistant.
Right, which he worked nights at that particular hospital where he probably would have had access to those meds. And so it didn't seem weird. It wasn't like he had a hammer or something with him. It was, he's not a carpenter. He wouldn't have had that. But the syringes didn't seem super weird. But however, when I did find those things, I did say, to myself, I thought, well, maybe he's using the needles for his own personal use. He works a lot. Maybe he's depressed. One medication I found was something with a, like when I Googled it, it said something about depression or something. So maybe, he was shooting up because he was depressed. I don't know. I mean, nothing.
But you found medication.
Yeah, a couple times I found vials of meds too in his car. But I thought, okay, he works. I mean, it's just, I didn't think it would be that weird to have, medication because he's in a hospital. So, he goes into a room, pulls that out of his, coat and, shoots, puts whatever medication into the syringe and gives the person, medication. It didn't seem that weird. It wasn't that far-fetched.
Yeah.
To me.
Doesn't, yeah, of course. But you've never worked in a hospital. No. Yeah, because that's not how how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Well, because really, you don't know. And I don't want to make light of that because now we look at it in this context and it seems more obvious or more noteworthy. Right. But at the time, I can understand how it might not. Did you ever notice that the SUV was draped, the windows were covered?
His car, a couple times, I did see where the blankets were on the seat of the chair and then up. I did see that. And I would ask why, and he would just say, you know, when I have to sleep in the doctor's lounge at night, it's, you know, I'm sitting with 2 chairs propped up, and he's 6'4", so he's pretty tall. So I could just picture him sitting with like 2 small chairs, and so he'd say he'd go out there and sleep at night.
Did you mention this to anyone else, the things that you found? You mentioned to your mother?
I did. I did talk to my mom. Yeah.
And she had an opinion.
Yes, mothers do. Mine especially. I'll just say my mom watches a lot of crime scene shows. One day when I told her that, you know, I found this brown paper bag with those items that I listed, she said, could Lonnie be raping women? And I'm like, okay, and I don't want to say it on TV, but of course I said, are you, you know, something me, you know, like you're kidding. This is like, seriously. And she's like, oh, yeah, that sounds, yeah. And so she kind of reneged on it a little bit. But of course, I didn't think that. I just was looking at always the affair. So everything I found, I just spun on it, but for her. Even when I found this stuff, I was like, oh, the nylons are for her. Oh, the zip ties, she's weird, she likes that. Like, it was just, I know it's stupid, but I couldn't get off of that. Like, I just...
So you explained it away in your mind by saying this is something he's doing with Sweet Baby over here. Right?
I've got another name for her.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
well,
lots of bleeps in there, but
there were questionable items that the police found in the car, correct? They found blankets and bedding covering the car's rear window. They found syringes loaded with an unknown substance. These were not syringes, they were loaded.
They were.
Rubber latex gloves, several nylons, adhesive tape cut into strips, metal handcuffs, metal leg restraints, plastic zip ties, multiple vials of prescription drugs, sedatives, flashlight, stun gun. They found strips already torn and preset.
Yeah, the tape, they did show me pictures of it. And if you're sitting in a car like this, the little center console here, the tape, like duct tape or something, had like gauze on it, and it was like 2 right here. And when they asked me about it, I'm like, oh, I could totally see that for your eyes. And they're like, what? And I was like, I don't know, I'm just picturing, like, you know, when you go to a spa and they put, you know, on your eyes or something, that's just kind of what I pictured. And so I don't know if that's what it was for, because then he later said it was for his toe, because he often had issues with the ingrown toe or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't think it was for his toe.
No, I don't think it was.
In their police report, they said the vehicle was stopped by detectives for a traffic violation. They said, quote, it was observed by the detectives that the rear passenger compartment had blankets and bedding partially covering the windows, that Lonnie Scott Keith consents to the search of his vehicle. He says, sure, you can look. Additional items found in a concealed compartment.
You would see it, the naked eye, you would see it. There was a loop on the seat. You could tell that it opened. It was under the seat, but I don't feel like it was, you know, anybody could see that it was there.
Well, I think the point is it wasn't out on the dash.
No, it definitely wasn't out on the dash.
Or whatever.
For sure.
And they said it appears as if the vehicle was staged for another assault. Now, at this point, given this is the Chico Police Department press release, that's just a few bullets from it.
Yeah.
There was much more to it. Have you been living with a serial rapist?
Allegedly, apparently. I mean, he hasn't gone to trial yet, so I don't know.
I'm just asking you what your gut tells you.
Based on what I've seen, I think I might have been.
All right, let's take a break. Next, after her husband was arrested for rape, Carrie wondered if somehow all of this was her fault. Well, Carrie's mother, Carol, joins us next with her thoughts on Carrie's blame game.
Before Lonnie was arrested, Carrie did find some zip ties, medication, syringes out in the garage, and then she found them behind the dryer at his apartment. One was a knockout drug, and one was a wake-up drug. Every time she would question him, he would explode. When I found out that Lonnie was arrested for rape, I was extremely shocked. Before Lonnie was arrested, Carrie did find some zip ties, medication, syringes out in the garage, and then she found them behind the dryer at his apartment. But he always had an excuse. He said the zip ties were for tying up the pool. The medication was left in his lab coat. And it made sense. Everything he said could be excused. Carrie texted me pictures of the medication, which I looked up online and found out one was a knockout drug and one was a wake-up drug. He was working so much, I thought that Lonnie was actually doing drugs. About a year prior to all this happening, Carrie thought Lonnie was having an affair. Every time she would question him, he would explode, punch a hole in the wall, or he'd throw things. I would never have thought Lonnie would do this. Sometimes I feel like I just need to get out there and scream. I still have days where I can't believe he's done it. Then other times I wish I could just slap the hell out of him. How could he do it to these girls and to his boys? They're devastated. Lonnie has said that he wants his day in court, but we are preparing them for the worst. I think he looks guilty.
Okay, well, I'm here with Carrie and her mother, Carol. Carol, you were suspicious of him long before all of this broke, right?
I was suspicious more of him having an affair.
Right.
But I became more suspicious with things that Carrie found.
Yeah.
Of something else going on.
Mm-hmm. Now, and let me just clear something up right away. Sometimes we can get really frustrated with ourselves because we don't see something or it doesn't jump out at us. But here's the thing. A normal person's mind can't go there. I mean, you don't just normally say A, B, C, Q, R, X. That's not how we think. And so it's real hard for us to even conceive that somebody might be doing something so heinous, so bizarre. And that's a good thing that your mind can't go there, that you don't jump to a conclusion that later becomes obvious or confirmed. So you can't expect yourself, if your mind went there, it'd be a pretty dark mind to go in that way. So don't be too hard on yourselves about that. What does bother me is that your daughter has said that she really wrestles with herself about whether or not some of this is your fault. I mean, just being honest, whether some of it's your fault, not just whether some of the marital problems might be your fault, but whether or not because you didn't do what you needed to as a wife that maybe he defaulted to this or was driven to this. Tell me what your thinking is, and just be honest. I can't help you with what you don't tell me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, up until, excuse me, before I found out about the affair, I was just, I don't want to say just a stay-at-home mom, because that's a lot of what you do for kids in your family, but that's what I did all day. So I didn't find it necessary at the time. Now looking back, I probably would change things, but I didn't wear makeup. I didn't do my hair. I kind of just stayed in yoga pants all day, those type of things. So, you know, so maybe if I paid a little bit more attention to myself that way, you know, after I'd had my little guy, who's now 3, he would sleep in the middle of us at night. And so it'd be Lonnie, a pillow, the baby, and then me. You know, so I mean, I kind of separated us. So, I mean, I don't know if that was it.
How does that link up in a cause and effect way to somebody deciding that he's going to go kidnap and rape young girls?
I don't take any part in that. I think that probably, I don't know, I feel like that probably is something like stemming from way back. Yeah, I just don't see that. But as far as the affair, I mean, I feel like I probably wasn't, I don't know, I emasculated him a lot, and, you know.
Well, I wrote down some specific things that you said because they were very troubling to me. One is, you said, I should have seen what Lonnie was really up to. You said, I should not have been a bitchy wife.
Yeah, that I was.
You said, if I was thinner, more beautiful, more loving, Lonnie wouldn't have raped other women. Those are your words.
Yeah. I said that. Yeah. I've always battled with my weight. That's always been a big thing. Funny, when I first found out about the affair, and I, you know, of course, went on a Facebook, MySpace, all that type of stuff to find her. And when I did, I'm like, oh man, she's thin. That like really made me mad. Didn't care about the pretty part. I was like, oh man. And so yeah, that's like my own insecurity. But I mean, I guess she was just there in a hospital and paid him attention. And, you know, in a letter she wrote to him, she said, you know, I'll always let you watch football. I'll rub your back and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, okay, I've got 4 kids. I'm sorry. Like, I would, you know, I just couldn't, I don't know, maybe just do the things that somebody else could. And now looking back, I mean, I feel like in the next relationship, you know, that I'll be so much better because I know what not to do. But we were so comfortable. I mean, I was with him since I was 15. You know, we just had 22 years of, you know, being with somebody. That's a long time. You get comfortable with them.
Yeah, and I know that you seem focused on the affair because it's something that you can put a face and a mind to, but your doubts extend to why he would go do anything, why he would turn away from you and go do these things. And let me tell you something. You can search through the literature, sociology, psychological, psychiatry, wherever, on why rape occurs, why rapists rape. And I can tell you sexual gratification is very low on that list. This happens because of a demented sense of entitlement. It happens because of a sense of power and control and anger and rage and sadistic mentalities. This has nothing to do with how cute you are or whether a child slept in your bed or how much you weighed or didn't weigh. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I do.
Does she hear what I'm saying?
I think she's trying to blame herself for a lot, and she's not to blame. This is a sick person who has done this, if he did it.
Well, there was something that we discovered in Carrie's home that troubled me. We'll discuss that when we come back.
The first 4 to 6 months were horrible. It was the worst of our lives.
One of the producers had mentioned they heard a voicemail message.
Yeah.
With the kids and Lonnie?
Yes, it is. As of this point, my son is the only one that knows about the rapes. My girls, who are 12 and 13, they don't know. I've just said that Dad's been accused of hurting young women. This is just something that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy.
Well, that was Carrie, a mother of 4, whose husband of 15 years made news last year after being arrested and charged with kidnapping and raping young women near the local college campus. She says she is now struggling to move past that scandal and put her life back together emotionally for herself and for her family. Now, when celebrities, politicians, or even other countries are caught in the middle of a scandal, many of them call my next guest to try and fix it. Judy Smith is one of the top crisis management experts and also the real-life inspiration behind the popular character Olivia Pope from the hit TV show Scandal. She is also author of Good Self, Bad Self, How to Bounce Back from a Personal Crisis. So I asked Judy to meet with Carrie and her mother at the Keith home in Northern California. She made a house call. Take a look.
I'm here today visiting a family who is in very serious crisis. The husband and father has been accused of rape. It's a family that needs help. Hi, Carrie, I'm Judy.
Come on in.
Thank you. It's good to see you. I kind of want to start from the beginning. You guys go way back.
We had a really good marriage up until about 2011. I found out that he was having an affair.
Did the kids know that their dad had cheated on their mom?
Yeah.
And how did they find that out?
I think they just saw a lot of the arguing.
Tell me about Lonnie's arrest. How did you feel about him?
I felt numb. Like, how am I going to tell my daughters?
How do you think the kids have been dealing with it?
The first 4 to 6 months were horrible. It was the worst of our lives.
One of the producers had mentioned they heard a voicemail message.
Yeah.
With the kids and Lonnie?
Yes, it is.
Hi.
Lonnie.
Carrie. We can't get to the phone. Leave us a message. Bye.
Hard.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's, you know, he's a part of our family, and, you know, you just can't forget that.
Where was the zip tie and the nylons?
There was a box, and I would snoop everything up. And I found a brown paper bag with the nylons, the zip ties, and the syringes.
What'd your mom say? What did she think?
Well, she said, could he be raping women? And I'm
oh my
like,
God, so your mom thought that?
My mom watches a lot of crime scene shows.
Do you feel as a family that all of you are victims as well?
We're definitely victims.
If he's found guilty, do you think you'll ever be able to forgive him?
No. No. There won't be any forgiveness.
So you think he might be found guilty?
I think he's going to be found guilty.
I hope it's all right if I talk to your mom as well. So, Carol, obviously everybody was shocked. What did you say to him when you found out?
I told him, Lonnie, basically what they found in your car makes you I don't see how you could explain all that stuff. I trusted Lonnie 100%.
What do you think now?
Now, I am so unsure.
How do you think it'd affect your daughter and your grandkids?
It's gonna be really hard on everybody. Tony will be my biggest worry.
Yeah.
Even though Lonnie's not his biological father, he's afraid that even having the last name
would affect that.
Would affect him.
Your daughter looks at you as a rock. Who's there for you?
I'm there for me. It is very stressful.
Thank you for having me into you guys' home.
Well, Judy, I'm glad you went up there, and we've got a lot to talk about here. First, let's talk about this answer machine message. That seems really odd to me, that you still have the same answer machine message with his voice on there greeting anyone that calls your home.
I wanted to actually just delete it, erase it, and then the kids didn't want to. They like hearing that, and I did video record it that way. I can always have the kids' voices, because my little guy was like, I think 2 or really young when we did it, and so he sounds super cute on there. I'm ready to. It's just they kind of are, you know, no, we don't want to. There's times where I turn off the machine and it goes to voicemail, but then we don't get our messages. So, yeah, I would be okay with it. I think you'll probably re-ask them again, because I think I asked them maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, and the first 6 months was hard, and then the last couple of months have been better, so they might be ready now.
I also get the sense, and I'm interested in Judy's take on this as well, I get the sense that there's a part of you that's still kind of defending him.
When he calls, I say, just tell me, why were all those things in your car? And he always has, you know, oh, that was for the pool. He always has a great excuse. I'm like, Lonnie, they have this. They have so much information. Like, are you going to pull a rabbit out of your hat? Like, seriously, what's going to happen? And he's like, you just have to let me have my day in court.
I work with corporations and celebrities and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And we see, and I've come to learn, that everybody's the same, right? We all get ourselves in trouble, but at the core, it's that issue. Like, how did we get there? What happened? And I think for you along the way, and a lot of times clients need this, sort of that big shock, right? There were a lot of warning signs.
Are you entertaining that this might just all be a big misunderstanding?
No, I'm pretty sure it's not. I mean, if so, because they've had him for over a year now in police custody.
I think the bail is $3.2 million.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
There's strips of tape pre-torn in a vehicle with syringes and sedatives and duct tape and handcuffs.
A lot of stuff. I didn't know about the handcuffs. I didn't know about the stun gun. Those things, like, actually, right before Christmas time, he had gotten, he was saying, oh, I'm going to go all out this year for Christmas, which he does. And he had said, don't go opening up any boxes and things like that, you know, don't check your email and all that. And so I later found out that that's when he bought the stun gun and the handcuffs and the leg restraints. So I didn't know about those things.
Well, okay. Well, all right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Carrie's oldest son, Tony, is 15 years old. And he feels that he is now the man of the house. Should that be his role now that his father is gone? Well, we're going to talk to Tony next.
Are you angry with your dad?
I'm just angry that like we had a good life and he threw it all away.
Has there been any bullying?
One kid said that your dad raped those 2 girls because he wasn't getting any at home.
The fact that my husband Lonnie is still in jail, all of our resources went away. For 12 years, I had been a stay-at-home mom. Income was no longer there. Times are tough financially. I've decided I have to let my house go, that I just can't afford a mortgage payment. It feels horrible. We have friends here, and to have to walk away from all that, it's hard.
Carrie says that her world was shattered last year when her husband Lonnie was stopped by police who found a stun gun, handcuffs, zip ties, ladies' nylons, syringes, prescription drug vials, adhesive tape, and metal leg shackles in his car. He was then arrested for allegedly kidnapping and raping women. Now, top crisis management expert Judy Smith met with 15-year-old Tony to get his thoughts on this scandal that made news and rocked his family to the core.
So, Tony, are you angry with your dad for putting you and your family in this situation?
I'm just angry that like we had a good life and he threw it all away. It's all gone.
When you first heard about it, what was your reaction?
Very shocking.
Do you still think he's a good dad? Was he a good dad?
Yeah, he's a good dad. I don't understand why he did it. I think there were signs, but I just don't think anybody picked up on it.
How have kids been at school and maybe online? Has there been any bullying?
There's a website that people can make comments. One kid said that your dad raped those 2 girls because he wasn't getting any at home.
Let's assume that your dad is found guilty. Are you concerned about your younger siblings?
Yeah, my sisters aren't gonna have their dad to like walk them down the aisle and stuff like that.
Somebody told me that you wanted to change your name.
Yeah.
Do you feel in some ways that changing your name is going to make it better for you so people won't associate you with him?
Yeah, I do. He's not my biological father and don't feel as close to him.
So we know that your dad has been charged. There's still a trial and hasn't been convicted. If that happens, is that scary for you?
Yeah, not a lot of people like those kind of people in jail. So they tend to hurt him, I guess.
Yeah. You fear for his safety, his life?
Yeah.
You still love him? Always will?
I still see him as my dad.
That's where you want to keep him? Okay. Thank you, Tony, for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I know it was hard, but I do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, joining us now is 15-year-old Tony. Tony, I appreciate you being here. I wish we were talking about a million other things than this. Judy, what are the most important things for Tony? I mean, kind of what's the Judy Smith fix-it plan for managing this scandal from his point of view?
Yeah. I think it's going to be critical for Tony. I agree, which is that he can't take on the role as a father figure.
I wrote down the things you said. Number one, you said, don't try to be the man of the house. You're not a substitute for the father. Ignore people who may use the situation to hurt you. It's your right to say you don't want to discuss.
Right, that's exactly right. We had talked a lot in terms of kids. You know, oftentimes kids can be mean and bullying. And a lot of times when kids do that, it's about their point of view. It's not about the person.
And you say it's important to realize that he did not create the situation and could not have prevented it.
That's right. Tony is not responsible for it, and oftentimes we feel bad, like we could have done something. And no, we couldn't have. It is his mess. He created it. He has to deal with it.
How do you feel about his attitude about wanting to change his name in terms of managing this scandal and crisis?
I think it's a small part of it. I think it's a very small part of it. Changing the name, if that is to run from the crisis and not to deal with it, that is not going to be helpful whatsoever. You have to do those things in terms of addressing it and talking about it. But I do think that it gives Tony a fresh start for him, in particular because while he loves this person, I'm sure still, it is not his dad. So I don't see that as a problem. but it has to be part of a bigger solution and part of a bigger plan.
Yeah. All right, Carrie says that she's lost her husband and his income after his arrest 1 year ago and doesn't know how to dig herself out of this crisis. Well, we'll see what our Fix-It expert Judy Smith has to say about her management plan when we come back.
The reality is Lonnie may never come home. I hope for the sake of my kids that he is proven innocent. I just don't want them carrying that stigma around with them forever. I do need help. I need help with how to talk with my kids. I don't want them feeling like they at all had a part in this.
That was Carrie, who says she does not know how to deal with the scandal of her physician assistant husband, Lonnie Keith, being arrested for allegedly kidnapping and sexually assaulting at least 2 women over the course of 18 months. Now, crisis expert Judy Smith has spent time with Carrie, also a mother of 4 children, and has put together a fix-it plan. And I don't mean to say that to suggest that this is an easy fix or something that just goes away with a couple of little spins. But you do have some important kind of talking points for her. And you started where I started, which is stop blaming yourself. That's the first one. We have it up on the graphic as well.
Oh, great. No, absolutely. Look, Carrie, we talked about this the other day. It is very hard not to blame yourself, but you are not the blame. You cannot take responsibility for his actions. That is going to be your first starting point in order to move forward. But I want you to also see in that it is a huge opportunity. It is, because you can reinvent your second half of your life, right? What do you want to do? So I think part of what you want to think about is not a job, but what you want that career to be like.
And you said that she needs to let go of Lonnie's baggage and start building this new life. I mean, yeah. Fair or unfair, it is what it is, and the sooner you get started, the better off, right?
Yeah, and letting go the baggage relates to the first point, which is coming to terms with, I did not do this. I did not cause this. So you can put his baggage some other place and put it out of your hands. And that's important.
And you said reputational management's important. Yeah. And one of the things that you say is you got to plan ways to discuss this with family and friends that you're comfortable with. And the point is, people are going to see her at church or the store or in the pickup line at school or whatever. Some people are going to bring it up. Some people are going to like, oh, I don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. She's got to come up with, here's what I say, here's what I do, so you don't have to think about it fresh every time you're with somebody. Right. Have a plan.
Right. Absolutely.
You and I both feel it's important to seek family counseling. Please allow me to make that a gift from us to you guys and make that arrangement to help all of y'all sit down and think through this. And we'll make those arrangements for you back at home. Okay. So you do have someone to talk to. And you're going to need maybe some life coaching and career thinking. We want to help you with all this because you're the victim here, not the perpetrator. All right, I thank you for coming here.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. You know, when people get into a crisis or a scandal, some folks don't know, but there are people that you go to that help you through that. And Judy Smith is one of the top crisis experts in the country, and she has helped rebuild the reputation of celebrities like Wesley Snipes, Jesse Jackson Jr., Monica Lewinsky, NFL quarterback Michael Vick, and many others. Now, there are some people who are not her clients, but if they had a brain in their heads, they would be, because they would certainly benefit from her expertise. So I just kind of want to talk about this. Here's a clip of a controversial public figure, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
Traffic nightmare, a deliberate act of revenge? Stuck in traffic for 4 hours? All because they didn't support New Jersey Governor Chris Christie?
Wildstein's attorney claimed that evidence exists tying Mr. Christie to having knowledge of the lane closures during the period when the lanes were closed, contrary to what the governor stated publicly.
I had no knowledge of this, of the planning, the execution, or anything about it. And then I first found out about it after it was over. And even then, what I was told was that it was a traffic study.
Okay, people always say politics, they're first national, then they say, no, they're local.
Local.
I think they're personal.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting on that bridge for 4 hours, you are pissed off. And if you then find out he did it as retribution, you're going to be, like, hugely pissed off. What's he do now?
No, absolutely. But this is what he did, which was right, is that he came out, and he's done this twice, at least, is to say, I did not have any knowledge of it. I didn't know anything about it. And he has said that, and he has denied it. Now, what's going to be the problem here is that what happens in crisis oftentimes is that when you start an investigation, you're going down this road, you see something that takes you down that road. And then that road is a very dangerous turn because we don't know where that might lead.
All right, we'll be right back. I'd like to thank all of my guests today. Special thanks to Judy Smith. Judy's book, Good Self, Bad Self, How to Bounce Back from a Personal Crisis, is currently in bookstores. And let me tell you something. You can use this in your everyday life. I have read it cover to cover. Mine is marked up. Yours will be too. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks, guys.